Hello. I come to you today with grave and terrible news. The intro for the latest episode of Gym Therapy was lost. The audio unrecoverable. This is a day past the original recording, and I am sitting here trying to figure out what I will put in front of this vlog that has no intro. And this is going to have to suffice. It is with a heavy heart that I come to you with this admittance of failure on my own part, this cry, this plea for you to give me a second chance. I know I can do better than this, and in fact I will be better than this. The accusations, the allegations about my inability to be a successful YouTube content creator are false. I can do this. And if you would be willing to give me another chance, I promise I will likely not let you down more than a dozen more times. But I will take this and I will learn from it, and I swear that you will get the best version of me going forward. With all of that being said, I'm going to push you forward to the vlog now. Today's topic was more or less the exploitation of people's insecurities. I started off my intro talking a bit about how that primarily impacts my life through gym influencers and the way that they peddle products that they have no interest in and sell solutions to problems while not addressing the problems themselves, and how this is one aspect of our consumerism society that I think negatively affects people. I swore that I would never fall into such a trap. You'll never find me selling any nutrition programs, any workout programs, at least until I'm big enough to properly monetize it. I'm kidding. I won't do that. But with all that being said, I think I've gotten us to a place where I can shift us off to leg day, so I'll see you all in the past. Test. Interesting. Well, that's embarrassing. I just did a whole set. You guys saw that, and I've been yapping. Anyway, welcome to the gym. Apparently, I hit my mic, but the channel wasn't set correctly, so it wasn't actually recording any of the stuff that I was saying. So we did our first set. We're focusing on depth. Man, I said a lot of good stuff that just doesn't exist now. That's frustrating. Anyway, to the topic at hand. Because we are in the space of gymming, I think addressing, and we kind of already did a little bit in the car, addressing the maybe disingenuous gym influencers is where we should start. It's unfortunate that the culture itself is kind of predicated on lying almost, right? Because I'm showing you workouts, I'm showing you plans, I'm showing you all these things that aren't traditional in some cases, right? It's like this competition to find the quirkiest, weirdest workout that may or may not work XYZ muscle group just because you're trying to get clicks. And that's not even to say the ones who are like, you know, if you buy my cookbook and if you buy my supplements and if you buy my workout plan, you look just like me. And that's just the furthest thing from the truth, because half of these guys aren't natural, right? They're using performance enhancing drugs while claiming otherwise. And you have naive people who don't know anything about fitness, about what like a realistic natural body looks like. And they buy into it all. And then at the end of this journey where they've spent hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars in this kind of adventure, in this trek to look like their favorite influencer, they then realize, oh, this is never going to happen for me. And the only way I can do that is to maybe permanently alter my health. but my favorite influencer is permanently altering their health, so I should too. And it's just like this very shitty superconducting loop of disingenuous manipulation. That's what I said. Man, we're not going to pretend that the influencer space is not very competitive, and there are obviously limited number of eyes that you can get on your content. So you're finding a way to be different. You're finding a way to add something new. I understand all that, and I support, you know, pushing the boundaries of whatever it is you're doing to try and find something else, something better, something interesting. However, you are never going to find me selling any workout plans that I did not specifically attempt to design just for you, right? I don't know, I'd sell it anyway. Like, there's just so much free information on the internet. If someone hit me up and was like, hey, what do you think a good starting plan would be? I've been working out for like a month and I just have no direction. I'd be like, cool, bing, bong, boom, boom, bam. That was a series of noises, wasn't it? And I would just, because like, I don't know, I don't think you can just have actually, I'm 100% sure you cannot just sell a one-size-fits-all workout plan. Because everybody's body and metabolism and sleep schedule and all this stuff is just so different. Some people respond to some movements that other people just straight up do not. Will it change? No. Will me making this video do anything? Absolutely not. But can you guys who watch it maybe hopefully be a little bit more aware of some of the dangers of your favorite fitness influencers? Certainly. I hate how disingenuous people are, man. It's like, I really don't think that if you said, hey, I'm not natural, that you would lose any amount of attention. Like, people are giving you attention because you look phenomenal, right? I guess there's some people who think that like steroids are cheating or like whatever it is, but I think the reality is you could never look like Chris Bumstead without gear, right? Only C-Bum's gonna ever look like C-Bum, but to get to that level of fitness, like, it's impossible naturally. Nobody's, you know, I don't think anyone's under the delusion that anything other than that is true. And I think the same thing is true for like look how popular Sam Sulek is, and he is very honest about his own stuff, right? And it has not, he's like what, probably the most famous, one of the most famous fitness influencers currently. I don't know who started this narrative of you can't blow up and you can't be popular if you're you know, anything other than natural, but I think it's completely false. And if you think that the only reason people are watching your stuff is because of the way your body looks, then maybe you should add something other than just how your body looks. Let's get a set. I want to leave some in the tank on my quads for leg extension, because that's going to hit these a little bit harder than this will. So we got some deep sets. Of course, we had the audio kerfuffle right at the beginning, but we're going to hang this one up, and we're going to go do some calves, hopefully standing calves. Oh wait, I don't record that anymore, do I? Maybe I'll do one set. do a little yap, and then we'll cut the recording. I'll sit down between the sets so we can actually continue this conversation. So I'll see you there, but just for a little bit. Even better, we got the seated one, so that means we can just do our whole set here, and we don't have to go anywhere. So we'll get our first one in, and then we'll keep it on going. Woo. All right, so my general displeasure with the average gym influencer is large. There's some good ones, absolutely no doubt, but just people's kind of obsession with like monetization and making money, even at the expense of other people, because man, I don't know XYZ person. It doesn't bother me if they waste their money. It doesn't bother me if I'm causing them long-term, maybe perhaps body dysmorphia because I claim that I'm natural and they're never able to achieve the physique that I have. I'm selling them dreams. Just selling them dreams. I guess the biggest one for women is perhaps like the makeup industry. The not even the makeup, the cosmetic industry, right? Between lip fillers, between BBLs, between breast augmentation, it's like tanning, spray tanning, makeup, Botox, wigs, hair dye, like just all this stuff. Like, number one, it's good that it's there. I like that people are able to pursue the things that make them feel beautiful. But to a lot of young women, older women, generally, I think it's almost becoming too much. And that's kind of sad, to be honest. Like, they feel like they have to do all of these things to measure up to XYZ Instagram model or XYZ actual model. And I know we have a lot of people who are, body positivity, but I mean, that stuff is potentially damaging in its own right. Because I don't feel like in a lot of cases you can sit somebody down and say, hey, you are beautiful without all of these things, right? You don't need this no job. You don't need to get your jawline shaved down or like whatever it might be. Just like these, for men, getting their shins broken, get metal bars in your legs and have them grow 2 inches. And you have to go to physical therapy to learn how to walk again. I just wish we could shift society into, these things are not necessary to be beautiful. Like, traditional beauty standards are pretty whack. I think, as we've talked about previously, beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. And a lot of people think a lot of different things are attractive. Like, some people might think that, being muscular and going to the gym is the ideal male body. But there's also people who think that being a skinny emo boy is an ideal male body. Some people think that the, beer belly, working hard, blue collar man is the ideal body. And it's just, there is no right answer. And I think men almost get a pass more than girls do. And I'll talk about that after a set. Because I'm guilty of the thoughts, right? I think recognizing... I'll continue this after the set. I don't want to talk too much before I get to the workout. Sheesh. So, as I kind of alluded to, I am also guilty of these thoughts. I will, and I think part of it is societally driven, but when I look at a guy who's slightly out of shape, I don't think much of it at all. And it might be due to the sexual attraction nature of it. Like, I'm not sexually attracted to men, so I don't really notice their bodies that way. But when I see a woman who I might deem undesirable, like, I notice it, right? And it's like that difference of how my perception is between a guy and a girl. And again, I don't know if it's just because of attraction or if it's societal, but either way, it should be the same. If I see an out-of-weight guy or if I see an out-of-shape guy or an out-of-shape girl, I feel like, think exactly the same about them, but I don't. Society does it too. Like, I'm an Instagram reel frequenter, and the difference in comments between like a guy who's like working on himself and a girl who's working on herself is night and day. Like, a guy, I feel like typically, and there are exceptions, but what I have largely seen, again, anecdotal information here, guy is just like super uplifted, super encouraged, and then the girl is just like, it's like this underhand encouragement. It's like you're doing great, humongous girly, or you're doing awesome, world girly, or sometimes there's the N-word in there, like humongous. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not trying to get canceled. Come on, guys. Let's be societally correct here. There's also this like general, I think, in the encouragement. I know this is kind of off topic, but I'm thinking about it, so I wanted to address it. We give men the benefit of the doubt when it comes to self-improvement, I think, a little bit more than girls. Like, I have heard literally men I know say that, like, oh, you know, she didn't actually go to the gym. She just went to record this video, and she's not actually making any progress, and it's all for clout, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, yeah, maybe. Like, it could be true, but why aren't we just giving people the benefit of the doubt on their self-improvement? Because as long as you doubt people, that's negative, right? If you're spewing out doubt and hatred in the comments, that's not the kind of encouragement someone like that needs, who's on what is really just an incredibly tough journey, one that I can't relate to, and I think one that most people cannot relate to. But with that being said, let's get another set in. Also, is it just me, or does people who get a lot of work done, men or women, look just kind of awful? They look like a caricature of what a human is. But like, they're so obsessed with like retaining their youth or improving their looks and like kind of conforming to what society is saying is beautiful, that they just do it anyway. And I wonder how many cosmetic surgeons I mean, they never would. It's just like some tattoo artists. Like, if you wanted to get dumbass tattooed across your forehead, it's not really in your tattoo artist's best interest to say no to a customer. Just like the cosmetic industry, I imagine, it's, even if like you're slowly turning into, you know, a real life goblin, they're not going to say no to money. Nope. I mean, most people won't. I'm a rarity where that's concerned. I feel like all the time at my work, I genuinely steer people into decisions that I think are beneficial to them, even if I could have gotten more money out of them, right? Like, they're coming to me with a need, but I'll be like, hey, you might not need all of this. I think this might be better, helps your budget, helps you, blah, blah, blah. In the event that it doesn't work out for you, you can always we have a trial period with our product, and you can exchange, right? If you want to come back and you're not happy with it, we can get you that next level if you want. But I really do think that this is what's best for you, because I think when you, at least for me, when you give your customers a good experience, they're more likely to refer, they're more likely to be repeat buyers, and ultimately, when I'm buying things, I'd hope that the people selling me things also have my best interests, as well as obviously the company, you don't have the company's best interests on some level, your company's going to fail. So it's like this tightrope. But when it comes to the cosmetic industry, it's like, okay, well, if you're not happy with your cosmetic surgery, then you'll just go get another one, right? Like, so I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. And going back to the fitness industry, you have like a bunch of products that people put into their bodies that just actually don't do anything. Like, there is no way, I don't know if you guys know this, there's literally no way to spot reduce fat. You could take whatever drugs you want, it ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna take a magic pill that's gonna spot reduce the fat on your tummy, right? It's snake oil. And I guess a lot of these, fitness industry, cosmetic industry, a lot of it is the insecurity we have with our own bodies. And the body positivity movement is also equally damaging, even though it's like promoting being happy the way you are. And I'll tell you why in just a second when we do one more set. But before we do, we're going to do leg curls. Alright, so we're going to do leg extension and then leg curl, because we're just going to take the machines that are open to us. So let's get our first setting, and today is not a single leg kind of day, today is a dual leg kind of day. So we're going to get that weight up and hit it. Alright, so body positivity. On the surface, great. Everyone should love themselves. Everyone should love the body that they're having, right? Make it sound like it's dinner. They should love the body that they have. You don't need to be taller. You don't need to be shorter. You don't need Botox. You don't need that nose surgery. You don't need a BBL. This is my opinion, and it's what I truly believe. However, if you don't need it, wanting it and doing something that makes you happy is a completely different thing. I don't think you have to do anything to make yourself desirable to others. I think part of being desirable is being confident and being happy in your own skin. However, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to say that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, societally, I think, if it's not this way, I wish it was, that if everyone could just learn to be comfortable in their own skin, all of us would be a lot happier. So on the surface, if the message were as genuine as it seems, it would be good. However, and I'm no medical professional, but I also don't believe that you have to be a professional in any field or area of expertise to have an opinion, right? Just because I am not a doctor does not mean I'm unable to read statistics and studies and understand long-term negative health effects of being XYZ thing. That's like saying, it's very like pick and choose when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, being morbidly obese, regardless of what some people would say, is long-term potentially harmful to your health, right? But that's become this kind of conjecturous statement in recent times. And some people might sit there and say, well, Chris, you're not a doctor. How could you possibly say that? You don't understand. But I think we can all agree that smoking cigarettes is potentially long-term bad for your health. And I don't have to be a doctor to say that. Why? Because one of them matters to you and the other one doesn't, perhaps? Even smokers can admit that they think it's bad. The number one, I think one of the number one factors to determining long-term health is your VO2 max, which is basically your body's ability to oxygenate its cells. What increases that? Exercise. Typically hard exercise. You want to do this kind of like easy high intensity, easy, high intensity kind of like rhythm, and that's how you can potentially maximize those kinds of things. Living a sedentary life ain't gonna do it, right? And I think there's a disconnect between being healthy now at any given weight and being healthy long term at any given weight. Because you could be XYZ weight right now and feel perfectly fine, have no joint pain, have no heart issues, have no cardiovascular issues, like nothing's wrong. But what about in 20 years? What about in 30 years? And we're all so busy living in the moment that we don't maybe want to think about those things. I've also heard people say, well, I'm going to die anyway, so what's it matter? And it's like, you say that, but I almost feel like it's a deflection. I really don't believe most people are just like okay with living the shortest life possible. My other portion of this is these people who are hyper kind of into body positivity and justifying lifestyles are also just super disingenuous as to like the life they are living. Like if I see posts where this 400-pound guy is like, this is what I ate today, and it's like 1,500 calories, and it's like, no, you didn't. That's not what you eat normally. There's no way. There's no way. You want to know why? Because my body and your body might be a little bit different, but the way we metabolize food is not like multiplicatively times different, right? Because I eat nearly 3,000 calories a day, and I'm right about, oh, I can't tell you my weight. I forgot about that. That's part of the secret. All right, I'm 185 pounds. 3,000 calories gets me about 185. Maybe I'm bulking a little bit. I'm not gaining weight like crazy, but that's kind of where I'm at. And you're telling me that you are like double my weight, eating half the calories? It doesn't make any sense. And it's not even like this weird thing about like calories are calories. It doesn't matter that I'm eating chicken and you're eating donuts, right? It doesn't matter that, you know, I'm eating rice and you're eating like ramen, like whatever it is. Like some calories are more nutritious than others, but at the end of the day, the reason you gain weight and the reason you lose weight is largely just the amount you are eating. And I think most of us know that it's cap, but when you're in like the body positive space, everyone just like turns a blind eye. They're like, oh yeah, totally, that's all you ate. Yeah, totally. And there's also this romanticizing of like being a bigger person. And I'm not saying that you can't find it attractive. I'm not saying it can't be beautiful, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But if we're just coming at it from a purely like, I want you to live the longest life possible angle, that's not how it's done. Does everyone need to be a bodybuilder? No, definitely not. Does everybody need to go to the gym 6 days a week like me? Definitely not. But I think when we're having conversations and saying that, like, you know, exercise isn't necessarily good for you, because excessive exercise can be bad for you too. Like, I think if more people could really get around to the idea that everything in excess is bad, not just the things that you don't like, we could make some serious progress where this is concerned. But, you know, everything is monetized and everything is exploited. And I'm a hypothetical influencer who is about body positivity, and I am overweight. Well, over what is the normal weight for someone who is my height and age, right? Because it's a different number based on how old you are, it's a different number based on how tall you are, and it's a different number based on any kind of underlying health issues you might have. Let's establish that. But you've also got a market that you are selling, and at some point, your body, your lifestyle, you're marketing it, right? You're marketing it to people of a similar demographic. You're selling to them. And instead of like getting better and getting healthy, you have an incentive to not. And you have an incentive to give disingenuous information. And ultimately, that is hurting people. And I know I'm not going to make any sweeping changes to big corporations who hurt people and exploit people. But when it's on an individual to individual basis, with kind of the rise of social media and how influenced people can be by just a singular individual, we can make changes there. I don't think we're going to change a whole company with a board of directors and people who are invested in this company, the shareholders. But for one guy, one girl, here and there, who has a large following, that's where it starts for a large portion of the population. It's also not just like on an individual basis. We really have a cult-like society, at least in America, where it's like you either are in the in crowd and doing all of the things that are popular, or you are an outcast. I mean, just think of a lot of your high school experiences, I imagine, maybe even college too. I mean, as crazy as it is, I still see, these cliques with people who are in their like 60s at work, and it's really strange. Some people never really grow up, I guess, outside of society and influencers and all that kind of stuff. The exploitation of companies, of course, right? Like your CEO. It's this complex issue where I have no problem with making a bunch of money, as long as those people are equally taxed, right? I hate that there's loopholes that exist in our country where the people making the most money also get to retain the most money. And I understand that these people employ people and run companies, and it's good for the economy, blah blah blah. But I don't think this person is doing anything more with the $1 million they're saving in taxes that is helpful to me as a employee in said company. I'm not seeing that directly into my paycheck. I'm probably also not seeing that go towards the company to better our products. This person who's making more money and getting tax breaks is simply using that for themselves. So what is the benefit of these loopholes? Just to keep money in the pockets of people who already have obscene amounts of money? It's kind of weird to me that only the lowest level people have to pay taxes. That's like the privilege of being rich. I don't know. I'm not like a eat the rich kind of guy. I'm not like I understand having people with wealth is good, especially when they're using it towards like business ventures, because that helps employ people. But when your company posts record profits and the benefit to the employees is a pizza party, I just don't really understand. How has the price of everything multiplied? Inflation is out of control, and the one thing that has not kept pace is wages. At some point, everything's going to collapse, right? Like that's what this is pointing to. When you no longer can afford to just be by yourself, you have to have a roommate, or you have to have like a wife or a partner that helps you pay bills. And what happens when it gets too expensive for more than two people? I saw a clip that is like adjacent to this topic, where this guy was like, he was paying an employee, and this employee was doing really, really well. And I don't know how true this was, or if this was just a meme, or if it was just like for clout. But the employee was doing really, really well. He said, hey, I'd like the chance to get a raise because I've been doing super awesome for your company and making you guys a bunch of money. I'm expecting another child. So like, hopefully my work can like pay off in a positive manner for me. And this guy said he fired him because he said, you shouldn't be making, because he is making a bad business decision in his personal life by having another child, then he couldn't trust him to make business decisions being employed for him. Instead of just giving him the raise to help this guy who is clearly an asset to the company, he fires him. Because at the end of the day, it's all about net benefit to the person employing you. They don't care about you. That's another thing. There used to be this like loyalty. You know, you work for your job and they gave you a Rolex at like your 10-year anniversary as like a thank you for your service, your loyalty, all the things that you've done for the company. And now you get like a little sheet of paper saying, hey, thanks for being here 10 years. They don't give you raises. They would replace you in a single day if they could do it for someone with equal skill at a cheaper cost. I don't really like that. I understand that as, you know, when you have a business, you need to make as much money as possible, or you want to, that's the goal, right? But it's a difference in culture, I think, in America versus like some Asian countries. I don't remember which one, but like there's this precedent where like a company wasn't doing well, and instead of cutting from the bottom, they cut from the top. The CEO takes no salary. The corporate heads don't take any bonuses, whatever it is, because those are the people that can afford that kind of stuff. Like, homie's already got 20 million in the bank. He's going to be okay not making a wage for 6 months. Versus considering his wage is like $500,000 a month or like whatever craziness it could be. Where like in America, well, the CEO taking a pay cut? Oh no. Instead, we're gonna cut 500 employees from the bottom, from the lowest performing stores. Why wouldn't we invest in the people? Why wouldn't we see if these things could be fixed? Why don't these multi-millionaires? It's just because it's about exploitation. It's not about the business. It's not about caring for people. It's not about doing any of that. And it's a cultural issue. Some cultures take care of people better than others. And America really isn't at the top, unfortunately. And that's where I live, and that's what I'm bitching about. Again, exploitation. Let's get set. And then one of the final places that we see a lot of this is, believe it or not, relationships. We're coming full circle. We've gone from, influencers and social media, talked a little bit about companies, but that one's very apparent, companies. And then you have the juicy one, the one we're all guaranteed. Like, you might not be a social media person. Well, I guess if you're watching this YouTube video, you are a little bit. You might not be working because you were blessed enough to not have to do that, maybe. Like, maybe you're rich watching, or you're like born into wealth, or maybe you married into it, or whatever it is, and you don't have to work, so you don't relate to that one either. But the one you might definitely relate to is the exploitation of relationships. And this is done by people who love us, people who care about us. So it's the most egregious. It's the one that we're all sitting there pouty-faced about. I'm pouty-faced about it, at least. I hate seeing my pookies get taken advantage of. But we're going to talk about that on our next exercise. Alright, time for the sussy exercise. So, people This is investigative news reporter Christopher coming at you live from the Crunch Fitness in Baton Rouge, and we have a new report suggesting that people in relationships and are close to you will use you for their own gains. I don't think that this is news to anyone, and it shouldn't be. That, honestly, the people closest to you are perhaps the most likely to use you for your own gain. Are the most likely to use you for their own gain. even if it's totally innocuous sometimes, right? Men will exploit your feelings to get what they want. Women will exploit your feelings to get what they want. I think this is kind of negative, but I think unfortunately a lot of people trend towards selfishness, right? In some cases. Hopefully the people who are just absolutely the closest to you don't do that to you. But it's also the people who are closest to you that have the most opportunity to do it for you, because you're emotionally invested in the relationship. You don't want to let them down. So it can be very incredibly dangerous. Let's get a sip. Sheesh. It's funny that I started talking about like relationship type stuff when some of, we've kind of established that a lot of exploitation happens because of physical stuff. And if we look at, how we're meeting people in the public, or sorry, how we're meeting people romantically these days because of the rise of, dating apps. It is furthered by, well, if you want to find somebody, honestly, pay $40 a month. You want to match? You want to have your likes at the top? You want to do this? You want to do that? Well, it's going to cost you $40 a month. Is not a tiny amount, honestly. It's low-key a ridiculous amount for what you're getting out of it. But they know they can charge it because people are that desperate to make a connection these days. It's kind of sad. Definitely pouring my cup of Coke out for people who are going through it. I don't know why I said a cup of Coke. I haven't actually had a soda pop and a cola, a fizzy. Man, it's been months, maybe even going on like years at this point. What does soda even taste like? For all my soda drinkers in the chat, what is the best soda? I don't, of course, drink it anymore, but the answer is Dr. Pepper, I think. And if you disagree, well then, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're kind of wrong. Being alive is kind of exhausting, isn't it? I feel like we're all just like, we're walking down a road that's like full of hazards everywhere we look. There's like potholes and spike pits and trip wires, and you're just like, so many things are just trying to get everything it possibly can out of you. Trying to get like money out of you, trying to get attention out of you. It's just like, man, I wish we could all, if everybody was like super nice and super wholesome and we all could just live life and didn't have to worry about anything, that would be like the mental, absolutely fantastic. One more set. I believe in our ability to do one more set. It's a new weight, by the way. We're at 120 on single leg. And I think really the best way to address it and to avoid it is by not interacting with it anymore. You know, when it comes to jobs, your job is, because there are good companies. I honestly think the company I work for is pretty good, and that's why I've stayed as long as I have, in terms of like how they care for their employees. But if you have a company that shows you no loyalty, leave. That's the best thing you can do. And if everybody exercised their right to leave and find better opportunities, things would stop. You know, if everybody tomorrow stopped paying for like Tinder Platinum, you know how fast they would lower the price? I think not enough people vote with their wallet. That's the most powerful thing you can do in terms of exploitation. Same thing with fitness influencers. You didn't buy these programs? You don't pay for these supplements? You best believe the strategy is going to be reinvented. If they realize that, hey, lying to my consumers doesn't get me consumers anymore, it would end. And then, of course, when it comes to relationships and people using you for attention, using you for monetary using you for monetary reason, using you for just validation of any kind, if you don't play into it, you don't buy into it, you vote with your wallet and be like, hey, I have value as a person, and I'm gonna do things that benefit me, and you're clearly not benefiting my life in any way. I am only benefiting yours. People would stop. Because it's a no-win scenario. We just have to present in these situations as best we can. If we could have sweeping changes to society, present these places with no-win scenarios. But sweeping change is hard because you have people who are not willing, right? There's, for every guy like myself who will never pay for any features on a dating app, there's 10 who would. Let's get a set. Our last set even. Alright though, that is going to be a leg day complete. I'm going to go hit abs. We're not going to record that because I value your time, and your abs aren't interesting. Just do your sit-ups. Do some pull downs with some weight on a cable. That's all you need. So, I'll pack the camera up and I'll see you guys in the car. Alright, so today's subject was kind of maybe nebulous in a way, in terms of like how these things, I think, affect us pretty regularly, in very apparent ways and not so apparent ways, and there really isn't like a one-size-fits-all solution for this kind of stuff, other than being aware, other than kind of voting with our wallets, other than, I guess, actually making decisions that benefit yourself, and I guess thinking and understanding that nobody other than you really, 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 really has your own best interest at heart. Like, even, I hate to say it, your husband is probably a bit self-interested. Your wife, your children. At the end of the day, I cannot fathom the idea that anyone but you would be like the ultimate altruist when it comes to like you. Because it just doesn't make any sense that someone would, and I could be wrong. This could be me and my relationships that I have had with, you know, people who are supposed to be very big influences on your life. Those relationships were really poor for me. So perhaps I am not the best person to give advice where this is from. But I will guarantee that if you place yourself first and you always have your best interest at heart and you kind of act in that way, you'll be happy. You will 100% be happy, because how could you not? You're putting yourself first. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. If they're selling you stuff, they're lying. Well, about something, right? There is no one-size-fits-all gym solution. There is no one-size-fits-all nutrition. There are no magic fat burners that will spot reduce, your belly or the underneath of your arms, or like whatever it is you're concerned about. Your plastic surgeon wants your money, right? Your tattoo artist wants your money. These people who are you're letting, in some cases, semi-permanently change your body, have a materialistic motive, right? For the portion we can control. I mean, you're not going to change the company you work for, but you could change the company you work for, right? And I think if enough people speak up with their money, with their actions, we could see change in the world. But it starts with you. It starts with you being the first one to decide, you know what, I'm not paying for Tinder Gold or Platinum or Diamond or whatever it might be, right? It starts with you. The next time you think your boyfriend is using you or your girlfriend is using you for whatever it is, saying, hey, I don't think this is entirely fair. Like, if you have a girlfriend who you are taking out all of the time and she is never, like, investing in the relationship in a monetary sense, I'm sorry to say it, I'm a provider, right, by nature. I like taking care of my partner, but I think it is important that both people have skin in the game. There is no reason that she doesn't take you out every now and then. There's no reason that she doesn't contribute to bills every now and then. You're not just a wallet. And for you girlies, you're not just a body, if that makes sense. You're not just like someone that they... Don't let guys use you, right? You're more important than that. I get that you love him. I get that he was everything you would ever want in a man. But if he... There is some part of the if he wanted to, he would. That is true. If he wanted to make you his girlfriend, he would. 100%. And boundaries are attractive. And I think if you can make some strong boundaries, be it man or woman, you will see some progress in your relationships. You'll see some progress in your work life. You'll see some progress everywhere in your life. If you have boundaries, do not fold, right? If they are healthy boundaries, do not fold. These are good for you. And I think long-term it's good for society, right? Because if everybody has healthy boundaries, then it's harder for companies, it's harder for people with nefarious intent to bulldoze over people in large swaths. Hopefully I said something insightful today. Today wasn't really a jokey kind of day. Maybe I let out all of my fun jokiness yesterday or the day before when I recorded my fun vlog. Which I had a lot of fun doing. When I was editing it, I enjoyed editing it a lot. It is definitely something that I think is here to stay once a week, where I can just kind of yap and really just kind of talk to you guys about fun stuff. Because while I want to, talk about mental issues and talk about fitness on some level when we do, I want to be able to talk to you about, like, the new Planet of the Apes movie, which was low-key fire. If you guys watch Planet of the Apes, big recommend. 2 thumbs all the way up. So that's going to be it for today's episode of Gym Therapy. I hope all of you, this is coming out on Monday. I was true to my word. It comes out on Monday. So I hope all of you are having a fantastic Monday, start of the work week. I hope this extends up to Wednesday or Thursday when my second video is going to drop, and then another Gym Therapy episode. And then, like, on the weekend, I think is when I'm going to have the fun day, right? So 2 gym therapies during our work week to help us get our mental straight, and then a fun video on the weekend when we're relaxing and have some capacity to just not be so focused, right? Because you have to have time where you're improving yourself, and you also have to have time where you're just getting to live the life that you've improved. So maybe that's the format. We'll see going forward. I don't want to get burnt out, right? I want to be able to put content up pretty regularly. So that is it for today. Until next time. Why did I just thought of, like, the Optimus Prime, like, in quote to Transformers? He's like, this is Optimus Prime. To any Autobots out there, we are waiting. Or, like, whatever the fuck he says. But, like, when I was signing off. Alright, that's a tangent. I'll catch y'all later.